is a personal brand? Such a buzzword, right? Well, what I just described is basically what a personal brand is. It's how your friends would describe you. It's how the people who know you best would describe you. It's not necessarily the long list of things that you've done or accomplished, or the schools that you've gone to, or what your job is, or what your company is. And I came up with my own little formula for personal brand, which is just your personality plus your purpose. It is really that simple. It doesn't have to be this big, obscure concept. And so in this workshop, we're going to break down what each of those are, how you can identify the key tenets of both your personality and your purpose, and then stitch them together into a story that will make you sticky followers. Did someone say something?
We had an unmuted person, but we're
good. Okay. So first, personality. So personality can be kind of hard to define fully, but it's things like, on a Saturday night, would you rather be in with a good book, or would you rather be out partying? Are you a cat person or a dog person, coffee or tea person? All these things that your friends would know if they were to describe you. And we'll get into some of the questions that can help you to find what your personality is, but just to set the scene for that one. Then there's your purpose, and your purpose can seem very big and daunting because it's basically how you serve the world. And we'll also get into what this is, but just think about it as like your mission statement or your North Star. So personality and personal brand, personality has to be a part of personal brand with purpose, because let's think about people like the Kardashians or people that we follow through The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, who are just personality. So I'm not saying anything against these people, but they don't really have this overarching purpose. We follow them because of their personality. We want to see what they're doing with their kids, what they're doing with their lives. And that's why we follow them. And that's enough of a reason to follow somebody. However, on the reverse of that, let's try to think of people who just have a purpose or just something they stand for. And I'm very hard pressed to think about who these people are, right? The most I've come up with is like a politician might have just their purpose and we don't see their personality a lot, but then we're even seeing, one of the reasons that AOC is doing so well with voters is because she can go on Instagram Live and set up an IKEA furniture while talking to people and really share that personality. But we don't often see people who just have that purpose aspect or think of them often. And that's because your personality is what makes your purpose relatable and impactful. You have to have the personality piece. Otherwise, that entire list of all the things that you've done and accomplished, etc., don't matter as much. So let's talk about people who have really good personal brands and how they both have personality and purpose. So Sarah Blakely is a really good example of this. If you follow her on Instagram, you know that every Sunday morning, she makes pancakes with her kids and puts them into really cute shapes. She also has a husband named Jesse Itzler, who is really into health stuff. And so there's this big joke about how he is always having all these bananas with him, but her favorite food is Cheez-Its. And that's such a big part of her personality that she says that people even bring her Cheez-Its when they know they're gonna meet her. We think about Mindy Kaling, who is hilarious. And so she's always sharing her funny personality on Instagram, but her purpose is really into more diversity and representation in the media and the TV industry. Oprah, our girl. Oprah is so great at making people feel through her personality, like even though you've never met her, you're just meeting her through a screen, that she's right there with you and she's a friend. And then her purpose is really helping people tap into their purpose and share their stories. So how do you make your personality strong enough? Let's break down this first one, because I know it can seem kind of like, well, there's all these aspects of my personality. I don't know how I'm supposed to share them on social media, etc. And that's where I'm going to take you to a story that I call the baked potato principle, which is a totally non-technical term used to describe the accidental accomplishment of resonating with an audience authentically. Keyword accidental. So to tell the story, let's go back in time. There was a night that I was living in Denver at the time, and I was home alone and I was working, and so I wasn't going to go out for dinner, and I had this insane craving for a loaded baked potato. I think it's just a big comfort food to me. My dad would always make loaded baked potatoes growing up on like Christmas Eve and special occasions, and I really wanted one, but I couldn't find one anywhere other than like a 5-star steakhouse or Wendy's. So that's like a big gap between the two. So I ordered one from Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, and I was just cracking up on my Instagram story about how they were going to receive this order for just one loaded baked potato at the steakhouse for delivery, especially it was like a $20 baked potato. So just cracking up about it casually, because I'm always very out there on social media. But what I did not expect is that in the years since I posted this, the baked potato principle came to life by literally everybody who has ever interacted with me sharing every single time they have ever seen a baked potato anywhere. guys, it got so real that when I was coming to speak at a school, instead of them posting like, oh, this is Haley, and like a picture of me or even a picture of Fitz, like she's coming to speak, they posted a picture of a baked potato to announce that I was coming to speak. Again, completely accidental. It's not like one night I was like, oh, you know what would be really good for my personality? I'm going to start talking about baked potatoes. Like, I promise I would not have come up with that if this was going to be manufactured. But the more that you share, the more that you'll see what might accidentally be sticky with certain people so that they think about you. And that's kind of the same thing as what I was saying about like Sarah Blakely and the Cheez-Its. And I know these are all like food examples, but that's why people think of her when they see Cheez-Its, and that's why they bring Cheez-Its. And that's what makes you feel like you're connected with this person and that you're friends with them, even if you've never met them. So why does that matter? So if you can influence somebody to think about you when they think about baked potatoes or see one, then you have trust. If you can make them think about you for anything, like if they're thinking about, oh, I really need to tap into an entrepreneurship network, I'm going to think of Entre, I'm going to think of Michael. That's influence. And influence leads to trust always, because if you have taken up some mental real estate in their minds and they think of you as an influencer, there's going to be trust, and trust moves to action. And this becomes like this big recycling circle, because the more that you are prompting people to take action, the more influence you have, the more trust you have, and so forth. So to understand this further and to break it down for you, and you might already have kind of your idea of maybe what your personality could be, we're going to start this workshop by going down this list of just questions and prompts that can help you start to think about your personality. And this is actually a page out of my personal branding workbook, which is 28 pages long. And I'm going to send it to all of you guys if you email me after this, or I'll send it to Michael to send to you or something. But it's all about really getting to know yourself and the things about you that your friends would talk about. So let's just take 5 minutes and we're going to go through this list just on your own, jot down some notes. And I want you to think of like the first thing that comes to your mind. That's what you're going to write down. I don't want you to think too much about this or try to manufacture it or think of like the perfect food, because again, like loaded baked potatoes, guys, you never know what's going to resonate with people. Just the most authentic answer for you.